Second priest said, "What a way to talk at such a juncture! You are foolish, immodest, and babbling, women. Do you not know that the good archbishop is likely to arrive at any moment? The crowds in the streets will be cheering and cheering. You go on croaking like frogs in the treetops, but frogs, at least, can be cooked and eaten. Whatever you are afraid of, in your craven apprehension, let me ask you, at the least, to put on pleasant faces, and give a hearty welcome to our good archbishop." And then Thomas enters and says, "Peace, and let them be in their exaltation. They speak better than they know, and beyond your understanding. They know and do not know what it is to act or suffer. They know and do not know that action is suffering, and suffering is action. Neither does the agent suffer, nor the patient act, but both are fixed in an eternal action, an eternal patience, to which all must consent that it may be willed, and which all must suffer that they may will it, that the pattern may subsist, for the pattern is the action, and the suffering, that the wheel may turn and still be forever still." The second priest says, "O my Lord, forgive me. I did not see you coming, engrossed by the chatter of these foolish women. Forgive us, my Lord. You would have had a better welcome if we had been sooner prepared for the event. But your Lordship knows that 7 years of waiting, 7 years of prayer, 7 years of emptiness have better prepared our hearts for your coming than 7 days could make ready Canterbury. However, I will have fires laid in all your rooms to take the chill off our English December. Your Lordship now being used to a better climate, your Lordship will find your rooms in order as you left them," Thomas says, "and will try to leave them in order as I find them. I am more than grateful for all your kind attentions. These are small matters. A little rest in Canterbury, with eager enemies restless about us, rebellious bishops, York, London, Salisbury, would have intercepted our letters, filled the coast with spies, and sent to meet me some who hold me in bitterest hate. By God's grace, aware of their provision, I sent my letters on another day, had fair crossing, found at Sandwich, Brock, Warren, and the Sheriff of Kent, those who had sworn to have my head from me. Only John, the Dean of Salisbury, fearing for the king's name, warning against treason, made them hold their hands. So for the time we are unmolested," the first priest says. "But do they follow after? Thomas said, "For a little time, the hungry hawk will only soar and hover, circling lower, waiting excuse, pretense, opportunity. End will be simple, sudden, God-given. Meanwhile, the substance of our first act will be shadows, and the strife with shadows. Heavier the interval, then the consummation. All things prepare for the event. Watch. The first tempter enters. You see, my lord, I do not wait upon ceremony. Here I have come, forgetting all acrimony, hoping that your present gravity will find excuse for my humble levity. Remembering all the good time past, your lordship won't despise an old friend out of favor? Old Tom, gay Tom, Becket of London, joyous Tom. Your lordship won't forget that evening on the river, when the king and you and I were all friends together. Friendship should be more than biting. Time can sever. What, my lord, now that you recover? Favor with the king. Shall we say that summer's over, or that the good time cannot last? Fluting in the meadows, viols in the hall, laughter and the apple blossom, floating on the water, singing at nightfall, whispering in the chambers, fires devouring the winter season, eating up the darkness with wit and wine and wisdom. Now that the king and you are in amity, clergy and laity may return to gaiety. Mirth and sportfulness need not walk warily. Thomas said, You talk of seasons that are past. I remember, not worth forgetting. The tempter said, And of the new season, spring has come in winter. Snow in the branches shall float as sweet as blossoms, ice along the ditches. Mirror the sunlight, love in the orchard, send the sap shooting, mirth matches melancholy. Thomas said, We do not know very much of the future, except that from generation to generation, the same things happen, again and again. Men learn from others' experience, but in the life of one man, never. The same time returns. Sever the cord, shed the scale. Only the fool, fixed in his folly, may think he can turn the wheel on which he turns. And the tempter said, My lord, a nod is as good as a wink. A man will often love what he spurns. For the good times past that are come again, I am your man. Did I say tempter from my lord to man? Thomas said, Not in this train. Look to your behavior. You were safer. Think of penitence and follow your master. The tempter said, Not at this gait. If you go so fast, others may go faster. Your lordship is too proud. The safest beast is not the one that roars most loud. And this was not the way of the king, our master. You were not used to be so hard upon sinners when they were your friends. Be easy, man. The easy man lives to eat the best dinners. Take a friend's advice. Leave well alone. Your goose may be cooked and eaten to the bone. Thomas said. You come 20 years too late, the tempter said. Then I leave you to your fate. I leave you to the pleasures of your higher vices, which will have to be paid for at higher prices. Farewell, my lord. I do not wait upon ceremony. I leave as I came, forgetting all acrimony, hoping that your present gravity will find excuse for my humble levity. If you will remember me, my lord, at your prayers, I'll remember you at kissing time below the stairs. Okay, didn't expect that. Thomas said, "Leave well alone the springtime fancy." So one thought goes whistling down the wind. The impossible is still temptation. The impossible, the undesirable, voices under sleep, waking a dead world, so that the mind may not be whole in the present. And the second tempter enters. "Your lordship has forgotten me, perhaps. I will remind you. We met at Clarendon, at Northampton, and last at Montreal in Maine. Now that I have recalled them, let us but set these not to pleasant memories, and balance against each other earlier and weightier ones, those of chancellorship. See how the late ones rise, you, master policy, whom all acknowledged, should guide the state again." Thomas said, "Your meaning?" The tempter said, "The chancellorship that you resigned when you were made archbishop, that was a mistake. On your part, still may be regained. Think, my lord, power obtained grows to glory, life-lasting, a permanent possession. A templed tomb, monument of marble, rule over men, reckon no madness." Thomas asked, "To the man of God, what gladness?" The tempter said, "Sadness. Only to those giving love to God alone shall he who held the solid substance wander walking with deceitful shadows. Power is present, holiness hereafter." Thomas asked, "Who then?" And we see that when we love God more than all else combined, well, our self is taken care of. The world is, the rights of the rest of creation is taken care of as far as, what we're capable of and what we're responsible for. But if we're a sociopath and we let society dictate everything, even that's neglected, some of it. And if we're a psychopath, even something about ourselves is neglected. Tempter. The chancellor, king and chancellor, king commands, chancellor richly rules. This is a sentence not taught in the schools. To set down the great, protect the poor, beneath the throne of God. Can man do more? Disarm the ruffian, strengthen the laws, rule for the good of the better cause, dispensing justice, make all even, is thrive on earth and perhaps in heaven. What means? Asked Thomas. The tempter said, "Real power," not in that voice though, "is purchased at price of a certain submission. Your spiritual power is earthly perdition. Power is present for him who will wield." Thomas asked, "Who shall have it?" The tempter said, "He who will come." Thomas asked, "What shall be the month?" The tempter said, "The last from the first." Thomas asked, "What shall we give for it?" The tempter said, "Pretense of priestly power." Thomas asked, "Why should we give it?" The tempter said, "For the power and the glory." Thomas said, "No." The tempter said, "Yes, our bravery will be broken. Combined in Canterbury, roamless ruler, self-bound servant of a powerless pope, the old stag circled with hounds." Thomas said, "No." The tempter, "Yes. Men must maneuver, monarchs also. Waging war abroad, need fast friends at home. Private policy is public profit. Dignity still shall be dressed with decorum. Thomas said, "You forget the bishops, whom I have laid under excommunication," the tempter said. "Hungry hatred will not strive against intelligent self-interest." Thomas said, "You forget the barons. Who will not forget constant curbing of petty privilege?" The tempter said, "Against the barons is king's cause, churl's cause, chancellor's cause." Thomas said, "No, shall I, who keep the keys of heaven and hell, supreme alone in England, who bind and loose with power from the Pope, descend to desire a punier power, delegate to deal the doom of damnation, to condemn kings not serving among their servants, is my open office. No, go." And not even the prophets were ones who had the authority to say, this person, to decide who would have a good or bad afterlife. And don't these people read their own Bibles? Didn't Jesus and the other prophets go against, this handed-down priesthood authority, this axis-controlling priesthood? The tempter said, "Then I leave you to your fate, your sin sunward, covering kings' falcons." Thomas said, "Temporal power to build a good world, to keep order as the world knows order. Those who put their faith in worldly order, not controlled by the order of a God, in confident ignorance, but arrest disorder, make it fast, breed fatal disease, degrade with exalt. Power with the king. I was the king, his arm, his better reason. But what was once exaltation would now be only mean descent." Enters the third tempter. The third tempter says, "I am an unexpected visitor." Thomas said, "I expected you." The tempter said, "But not in this guise, or for my present purpose." Thomas said, "No purpose brings surprise." The tempter said, "Well, my lord, I am no trifler and no politician, to idle or intrigue at court. I have no skill. I am no courtier. I know a horse, a dog, a wench. I know how to hold my estates in order, a country-keeping lord who minds his own business. It is we country lords who know the country, and we who know what the country needs. It is our country. We care for the country. We are the backbone of the nation. We, not the plodding parasites about the king. Excuse my bluntness. I am a rough, straightforward Englishman." Thomas said, "Proceed. Straightforward." The tempter said, "Purpose is plain. Endurance of friendship does not depend on ourselves, but upon circumstance. But circumstance is not undetermined. Unreal friendship may turn to real, but real friendship, once ended, cannot be mended. Sooner shall enmity turn to alliance. The enmity that never knew friendship can sooner know accord." Thomas said, "For a countryman, you wrap your meaning in as dark generality as any courtier." The tempter said, "This is the simple fact. You have no hope of reconciliation with Henry the King. You look only to blind assertion and isolation. That is a mistake." Thomas said, "O Henry, O my king."